on either down level or up level. There you go.
Oh, this is some setup. Phew! Talk about rough camping. I think Chris wanted the spotlight, so he sent me back here behind him. See how he's doing this?
The camera's right on you now, Frank. I mean, you know, we have to have the voice of the show.
Whoo!
Somebody's got to talk about it, and somebody's got to do it.
All right, folks. Well, I'll tell you what. I told you eventually we get a show out there, and we eventually got one out. We got one going.
Yeah.
I went by to see Chris's boy last night, Mr. Bill Daniels, the maker of the Daniels Deceiver. He's got that, what is that, the trout deceiver here?
Yep.
Check it out.
Right here, folks. This is our new, this is what we were trying to work out there when we were out there fishing with that, you know, the 200 with a lure behind it. This is what we had in mind. This is what's coming out. Trout Deceiver. It's going to be awesome. Put a lot of big fish on film. You'll see it here real soon. You watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was out, he actually had the 202T, that top water. It's got propellers on it. Chris was using that yesterday. And I mean, he got, you know, you'll see while we're playing this, we're going to play the video.
It's not the 202, it's going to be the 206 is the color I had on top of it, was the gold color.
Oh, is that right?
The 202 is the green color. We're going to be offering both of those colors here come real soon.
Well, I got both baits from Bill, so we're going to get some photos of them, put them on the website, and you're going to see them in action. And we were out on the west wall. Chris took me out a couple of mornings ago. Big storm moving in. We were out, what, about 6 in the morning?
Yep, almost definitely. You got to get out early if you want to get some fishing in.
Well, I called up Chris the day before. I'm like, yeah, you got to take me fishing, man. So he's like, well, I'm going early tomorrow. I guess there were 3 full moons, and you always hit it, what, the day after the
I got the redneck policy, guys, is, you know, 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after the full moon is when these fish are going to really feed. You know, them fishing reports that Frankie's talking about, those guys are not fishermen, okay? They're wannabes. They're looking at some charts. They're going, hey, I want to go fishing.
I went to Tides for You or Tides for Us or Kiss My Tides Ass, something like that, .com, and they had the whole fishing barometer and the whole, you know, the moon and the sun and all that, and it said it was going to be the worst fishing day of the month. So Chris says, like, kiss my butt, let's get out there and do some fishing. So we're going down the west wall, and I'm like, you know, here's a storm coming. I'm looking at Chris like, we stopping? He's like, nope. I'm like, you know, Chris, lightning, we stopping yet to fish? Nope, we're not there yet.
Not yet there.
Get down there, and what, you saw a bunch of osprey up in the trees?
Well, you know, when you haven't been on the water, I haven't been on the water for about 3 weeks. Mr. Taylor's been working a lot. And
bad news.
Yeah, no, it's like, well, look at them fish over there. And we're going to have to stop this show and go fishing, folks. We're over here by the water. It's very addictive, you know. When you're not on the water for a while, you got to look for the signs. And one of the signs that I look for is birds. And one of the birds I like to key on is an osprey, because an osprey does a lot of fishing to feed themselves. And here we come up to this area, and there's an osprey on every single tree right where we stopped. And I'm not kidding you, if there wasn't 8 or 9 ospreys right there, all lined up right in this area, and I'm like, Frank, we're here. We've got here. Front there.
All right, I got here Chris this morning. Oh, don't let me hook you.
Don't let me lose the Daniels.
And we're heading out. It's dark, so it's about, what is it, 6 in the morning, and we're going out fishing probably around the Myakka. And Chris is getting his Daniels Deceivers all loaded up. We got Mr. Wiffle lures. We got Daniels Deceivers today. We've got the Canyon reel. We're using on some nice graphite rods. I'm using a pen. I think Chris is using an Abu Garcia, I believe. And what you using on your rod?
Oh, my rods are all Shimano.
Oh, Shimano. Well, that's part of me. So we're heading out. We're going to do some video out there on the boat around Hog Island, the Myakka. So we'll hook up with you guys soon. See ya. All right, we're heading out. Just mixed them up, Mr. Wiffle and Mr. Deceiver. West Wall, 3rd cast.
Oh God, son, this is a big one. Come on, boy.
Big fish.
Come up that wall, son. Come up that wall. Oh,
nice. Nice. Yeah, oh yeah. That's a big fish, buddy. Chris playing the banjo.
Oh yeah, folks. Oh yeah, folks.
Got that camera on?
Oh yes, I got it on, son. Toad in the fish right here, Frankus.
There it is, buddy.
Oh yeah. Woo! This is a big one, son. This is a big fish. This is a big fish. Mr. Whiffle and Mr. Deceiver together.
Chris mixed them up.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit of my favorite baits.
West wall, third cast.
Oh God, son, this is a big one. Come on, come off that
Big
wall.
fish.
Come off that wall, son. Come off that wall. Oh, nice.
Getting them back. Check them out. Look at taking the drag. That is a big fish. Want me to pull the pole up or?
I'm not sure I got what it takes, folks.
Oh wow, you're scaring other fish out of the water. Want me to pull the pole up?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
No.
No, we don't want to go closer to the bank.
Oh yeah. That's a big fish, buddy.
All right.
Chris playing the banjo, getting them back.
Right.
Check them out.
Come to me, baby. I only have a 30-pound test leader on this thing.
Okay, taking the drag. That is a big fish.
Oh no, it's wearing my arm out. I'm not sure I got what it takes, folks.
Oh wow, you're scaring other fish out of the water.
Oh my gosh, this is a...
Want me to pull the pole up?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Oh no. No, we don't want to go closer to the bank here. Man, I'm getting tired. Frank is tired.
It's all right.
Hey,
Mr.
folks.
Whiffle and Daniel's Deceiver. You got a top water bait.
Okay, you better
Put a little, what, a 2-foot leader on it?
do me a favor and get this net ready.
You got it. Put a 2-foot leader on it.
Oh yeah,
And
folks.
he put a whiffle on the back.
Man, I'm getting tired. Frank is tired.
That's all right. Mr. Whiffle and Daniel's Deceiver. You got a top water bait. He put a little, what, a 2-foot leader on it?
Do me a favor and get this net ready.
You got it. Put a 2-foot leader on it. And he put a whiffle on the back of it. That is big, man. What is that, a snook?
Yeah, it's a snook.
That's a big snook.
Nice little snook, folks, for the first cast that I'm
You
on.
grab
Ready?
the
You got it? You got me? Oh.
And he grabbed the actual...
You got me?
Oh, wow! Holy mackerel! Look at the size of that son of a bitch.
Woo, folks!
There he is, Chris.
Give me some knuckles, baby!
Good job, baby. There it is. Woohoo!
Pulling
There
up
he
here.
is. Coach Chris Taylor,
Woo.
Daniel's Deceiver with the Mr. Whip.
Frankie almost had him too, boy. He blew up on your lure
He was
twice.
right behind my impact lure, and I didn't get him on, and Chris cast it.
Oh, yeah, baby!
Snook. Beautiful, buddy. Well,
Mr. Whiffle and Mr. Deceiver.
You had the Deceiver on the top.
Billy, I'm telling you right now,
Grab the
folks,
whiffle.
we have come up with a beautiful, beautiful thing here. This is awesome, folks. Look at this. Hey, when me and Frank said we were coming filming, the first thing Frank told me this morning, he tried to tell me a negative. He tried to tell me that there was going to be no good fishing.
That's what they said.
And I tried to tell him, oh boy,
Woo!
oh boy.
Woo-hoo!
When I say it's a big one, folks, it's not no joke. This is the real deal.
That is a big snook.
That is probably
Let me back
15,
up.
20 pounds.
I can't get him on camera here. I'm back up a little bit. There he is. Coach Chris Taylor. Daniel's Deceiver with the Mr. Whiffle jig on the back.
Had him too, boy. He blew up on your
He was right behind my impact lure, and I didn't get him on, and Chris cast it behind it. Impact lure, and I didn't get him on, and Chris cast it.
Oh yeah, baby!
Snook. Beautiful, buddy. Well,
Oh,
there it
yeah,
is.
baby!
King Snook. Beautiful, buddy. Well, we'll see you in a week, Snook. Season's opening soon. Bye-bye.
Nah, he's a little too big for season.
Is he?
Nope.
Bye-bye. We'll see you soon.
I'm just sucking on my thumb.
There he goes.
There we go.
And goodbye. Awesome, Chris.
Sending us some nice baits here.
Yeah, he sent us a pack of varieties, and Chris is like, I'm going to get the root beer.
I'm gonna do the root beer and
Beautiful.
cast in the morning.
Let's see that. Both of those baits. I want to see both of
Let's show
those.
a little preview of what me and Mr. Bill have been talking about. I told him that we would take his 200, which he's already got a prototype for this, folks. And I've just put the Mr. Wiffle down below it because, thanks to Mr. Wiffle, he's sending us some nice baits here.
Yeah, he sent us a pack of varieties, and Chris is like, I'm going to get the root beer with that green tail.
Beer. And you know what? And look at this, folks. He came up to blow up on the topwater lure. And when he didn't take the topwater lure, this other lure behind it, he snagged it instantly.
Boom.
So it's the real deal.
That's the shit, boy.
Let's do it.
Beautiful. We're back on, bud. Nice fish, Chris. Nice fish. Stops, you know, it gets all set up. He sets up this, he had that 206, he had the gold one. It's got the propellers on it. He took the hooks off it completely, and he had this this jig dragging behind it. He actually picked up random jigs. It doesn't matter, you know, whatever color works for your area. I know Chris likes the electric chicken. Some people like the blue, the greens. You know, whatever color works.
Everybody has their color. Everybody has their bait. Some people might want to use a shrimp behind it. You know, you can. I'm not even going to tell you that you can't go ahead and take this bait right here and go ahead. If you're the guy who goes and buys a dozen shrimp, go ahead and put the jig on it. Put your little shrimp on the bottom of it. Pop, pop, let it sit there. Pop, pop, let it sit there. You're gonna have a fish come up and attack it because they're coming up to see what Mr. Daniels is talking about. Once they get there, they can't help but eat.
Well, you know, it mimics, and we talk about them a lot because we grew up with love lures. And when you're playing with love lures, they're very effective for just about a trout, snook, just about anything. And this is like, I call it a love lure on steroids because it mimics the same thing. It creates disturbance, turbulence on the top of the water, like an injured fish or a fish that's been attacked. And then it creates that secondary influence, you know, that bait behind it that's getting pulled through it, that seems to, you know, trigger that second strike so you don't lose the fish.
So,
and it worked.
I mean, if you were to see a big fish run into a bait school, it would run into the bait school, and first thing you would see is an explosion. Poof! And then the bait that they hit that they didn't suck up is going to be floating down like this. Well, that's what this mimics. All of a sudden, they hear the poof. And then all of a sudden, next thing they see is this bait floating back down underneath of the poof. Well, it's just instant. If they want it, it smells good, it looks good, they're already turned on by the pop. Whatever's below it, guys, they're gonna wail on it. Now, it just happens to be, this is one of my favorite colors. Everybody knows that.
Electric chicken.
You don't have to even worry about it. I mean, it's just, they're going to bury me in pink and green, probably. I don't know what's going to go on here.
It works here.
But Mr. Bill has made me a pink and green top lure, too.
Look at that, man. An electric chicken top popper. And he calls it the Trout Deceiver. It's the TD13, this one is. And really, I mean, the action, it's got the hollowed out front end, so it has that nice popping.
Great sound, guys.
Popping.
Great. I mean, hold on, folks. Frankie's going to show you the video here when we get done. I came over here with the prototype in my little canal over here, threw it maybe 15 times at the very most. Boom, a bass. There we go, folks. Who's to say? Look at that, Mr. Bill. What do you think about that? He's not very big, but he sure was hungry, folks. Came right up and grabbed that thing. He came right up and grabbed it. I mean, he's not a big one, but...
Exactly the way you said it works. The top one gets the attraction, and then the bottom one hooks a fish.
Exactly. It's like the bait and release, you know?
Yep. And he went right for that bait too. The bottom one.
Oh no.
It's really deep.
Oh yeah, he sucked it in big time.
Beautiful.
Ta-ding!
There you go.
What do you think?
The Deceiver saltwater trout
bass came up and hit my saltwater rig. Okay. We're not talking any bass colors here.
No frogs,
no
bugs,
no green, you know, none of the colors that these fish over here are feeding on.
This is snook candy here.
These fish are feeding on really nice golden shiners over here. We have a great supply of them, and this doesn't look nothing like them at all.
There's nothing in this water that looks
so,
like
and
this.
it just pounded it.
Yep.
So, and it wasn't a big bass, but it shows that, you know, you get them turned on by this lure. Now, you know, Mr. Bill and I both grew up with a guy named Brad Bradshaw, who used to own the local tackle shop in town, and he created what we call the trout tout back in the day, and he had hand carved a wooden lure at the top, and then he would tie the level lures to the bottom, and he would sell them in his store as Brad Bradshaw's trout touts. And this right here, folks, is a semi version of it, but now he's went ahead and put the propeller on the back, which even gives it even greater action. All right, guys. Mr. Billis gave me my new prototype, the Trout Deceiver TD13.
Bill gave this one to me.
Oh no!
And this is the evidence that this one's mine.
Oh man. I guess I'm gonna have to go see Bill. Let me see if I can lose this lure to a big, gigantic bass.
Big fish catcher.
Well, I've also got my Cannon here, as you guys can see, my nice little new reel here.
Oh, you got the Canyon on? Sweet.
Yeah. Wow, look at that, folks.
Isn't that nice action?
Wow.
Now I got a
love
razor
it.
bait. I'm gonna hang this in front of Chris. I'm using a razor bait here, and I'm gonna try it right next to the Daniels Deceiver. And I got the Canyon too, got the Canyon reel on. Let's see what we got here.
See how it settles back down, and the jig is gonna go back down in their face. You give them a little tap, and that jig's gonna fly back up and then settle back down in front of their face. So when the fish comes up to hit the top water, he's gonna have that other bait right down there, right where he can get a hold. This is gonna be a killer, folks. They're gonna end up calling this the Charlotte Harbor Slayer when it's all said and done, okay?
Well, I'll tell you what, and it's not a fluke. You know, Chris caught that beautiful bass, or that beautiful bass here. He caught that huge snook a couple of days ago. He threw it back in. He had another hit that actually, it hit the Deceiver. It hit the top water plug.
Crushed it.
And it knocked the whole setup out of the water a couple of foot. I mean, it was a big
no,
snook.
it's nice. I wish we really had, I wish it wasn't so early in the morning for the footage, because you can see on the film that we took that this thing is slapping the plug about this high out of the water. We're talking knee high, maybe 3 foot out of the water, and it had it in its mouth, and it was going crazy, but there was no hooks in it, so all we got to see was a great explosion, which would, to me, I'm all about that. I mean,
beautiful.
I didn't have to hook the fish and bring it over and kiss it just to get the explosion. That explosion got me fishing hardcore for about an hour.
It was good. It was a nice hit, a lot of nice hits really. So the bait does work. Now, what I said, and Chris said that they tried it once and it was a bit dangerous, and Chris even said if they could figure out a way to get a hook on this top bait without it wrapping up, of course, the leader, or catching you if you catch a fish and nailing you, that'd be great, but it's dangerous.
I tell you, I tried it, folks. You know, the first thing I did is Bill gave me a lure, which was the, I think it was the 201. It was a silver color, and I went ahead and tried it out there. And I left the hook in right here where my finger's at, okay? Wow, I'm telling you what, if that fish, when I got caught a huge redfish on it, okay? Didn't have it on film, but I caught a huge redfish. When I brought it in, this thing was swinging around like this, and you know, the chances that hooks were flying, and I'm telling you what, in about 3 minutes, there's gonna be grown men crying if that hook would have slapped down into us.
Very dangerous.
That fish would have levered us, and we would have had a hard time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I told Bill, I saw Bill last night, we were talking about some lures and fishing and stuff. He's getting, I guess, a steering cable put on his boat.
Ooh.
So I'm going to force him to take me fishing as soon as he has that
Force him?
cable
You
on.
gotta have to force Bill, man.
I just got to catch up with him before he takes off, that's all.
We got to go up to Peace River and find out Mr. Bill's favorite spots up at Peace River, because you know what? I am dying to go up there with the man who knows that river way better than I ever did.
Every time I get a message from Bill, it's always him holding a gigantic snooker or red with a big smile on his face. And you can never tell where he is because he takes those low pictures where you see the horizon, but you don't see the shoreline. Smart guy.
Yeah,
He's not giving it up.
He just doesn't want to share his fishing spots like Mr. Taylor. You know, to me, there is not a fishing hole out here in Florida that I won't keep going to. I mean, they're all for you guys. You guys come out and have fun with them.
Yeah, it's great fishing. You know, these are great baits. They work every place, whether you're in freshwater, you're in saltwater. And I'll tell you what, it was, you know, right now this time of year, the storms start moving in throughout the day. If you don't really get out there early, and you know, maybe you'll get a frontal pass through, then get out there and fish before the next line of clouds comes in.
I think what the trick is, Frank, is what you got to tell these folks is just get a bigger motor. We'd had a bigger motor, we could have just ran all around. We just keep running from the storm all day. We could have fished all day.
Well, you know, it's not bad out there. You know, Chris fishes the Myakka, the West Wall, so there's usually places you could duck in and hide if you need to. And Chris has his rain gear with him. I was out getting soaking wet, but he had his rain gear on.
Yeah, Frankie needs to get some rain gear. That's right. When the rain hits, you just fish a little longer. That's all. Only thing that drives me home is the lightning.
Well, the lightning, you know, it's dangerous, and Chris has an aluminum boat, so, you know, basically it's grounded to the water, so you get hit by lightning, we might get knocked about a bit, but it's a little bit safer than if you're on a fiberglass boat and you don't have a lightning wire in the water, then you're in trouble. But I'll tell you what, folks, now, I grew up on a sailboat out in Pirate Harbor. We used to go sailing all the time, had a mast that stayed up 35 foot above the deck of the boat, and we dropped the lightning cable into the water every time that a bad storm comes through. We got hit probably twice by a little bolt of lightning, and it's loud. It'll blow your hearing out for about 10 minutes, but if you drop that lightning cable down in the water, you got a flying bridge, you got a high deck or something with some aluminum on it. If it's grounded to the water, you might get the living crap knocked out of you and you might go deaf for a while, but you'll live.
Deaf is the key. Like what Frank is talking about is the explosion that happens when lightning hits.
But it is dangerous. I mean, we were out there, probably shouldn't have been out there in that kind of weather, but the fishing was good.
We have to go do something for you guys. Get some videos out there for you.
Well, you know, the thing is, and Chris always does it, you know, like, hey, we want to find some snook. He's like, well, it's an outgoing tide. I know where we're going to get snook. And 2 casts later, we had the biggest snook I've seen this year on his line. And then
we had another big snook, didn't we?
God.
We were on the way home. We had the biggest snook of the day come out and shake his head at us.
Oh man, we're moving around. You know, the rain's coming in over the coastline. We're on the west wall, so Chris is like, well, let's shoot over to the Myakka Cutt Off and kind of hide in there. Maybe we'll miss it. So we're heading over there, and on the flats outside of Hog Island there, Chris hangs a nice little trout. And he's like, you know what, let's have some fun. He rigged up a little shark rig up and got some things going. And we get into the back of the cutoff, floating through there, and wow, well, it started raining really hard, and we were actually getting ready to go.
Yeah, it was actually a silver trout, actually, on that. You got a couple different kinds of trout. You got a sea trout, which is a spotted sea trout. That's your game fish. But a silver trout.
Oh, the sand, yeah, I should say the sand trout.
Silver trout is more like a, I'm not going to say it's a game fish of any means. It's just a smaller, and I've caught some of my better game fish on that, on the silver trout.
They remind me of the whitefish you get around the beach.
We took this thing and we rigged it up and we drug it behind the boat, is what Frankie's going to tell you here in a second. But just before we were getting ready to go home,
I had the canyon reel on.
Hold on a second.
Yep.
That's all we heard.
Yep.
We heard it a lot louder and a lot faster than that.
It just went, man.
It was screaming, and you know, I probably should have dropped back to it a little bit, but a big snook came up out of the water, and it was definitely going to be the biggest snook of the day. And
he spit Chris's bait right out at him. I mean, I put it in the blog. It was like an old man chewing tobacco and just spitting it across the water.
Spittoon.
And said, we'll see you next time around. But it is a great place. The inside, that's the south mount, or the south exit to the Myakka Cutt Off.
Yeah, the Charlotte Harbor entrance is what we basically call it. You got the Charlotte entrance and you got your Myakka entrance. The front and the back end of the Hog Island. Usually this time of the year, the Hog Island is usually a little too hot because of the shallow waters. So the fish usually end up pushing out to the bars. Right now, I tell you the truth, I mean, we and Frankie didn't go try it or nothing because we were looking for one species, really. We were looking for a nice snook. But the mangrove snapper guys, they are on fire right now. One of the best table fares you're going to have. And you can catch them with jigs, you can catch them with bait, you can catch them with cut bait, you can catch them just any way you want to. I've got people hooked up with fishing these jigs, and they're coming back and telling me they're catching 10, 15 mangrove snappers on them, just, you know, drifting by the passes near Little Gasparilla, you know, Big Gasparilla, you know, Boca Grande Pass, all those passes right now. They're picking up a lot of mangrove snappers, and we're talking quality mangoes, okay?
Very nice. And I'll tell you what, here's a blast from the past. Remember Holmes Bait and Tackle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I talked to his son yesterday. I was down at Spring Lake doing some fishing. He was out getting some bait. He actually collects bait, does some fishing, sells some bait around. And he said the same thing. He said he's been picking up some nice little bait fish around Spring Lake. go into the bridges on North and West or East and West Spring Lake, and nice snapper around the bottom of the bridges.
Snapper are everywhere right now. Summertime's the time to get them, guys. They'll come into our inshore waters, and you'll be able to get grouper close to shore. You'll be able to get these mangrove snapper close to shore. Great table fare. You don't hate. I tell you what, when I was growing up with Kyle, I mean, when Colin was growing up, we would go out and weight fish 2 or 3 times a week and bring back a bucket load of mangoes.
Oh, yeah.
And we never had a boat, folks. I mean, I walked off the shore and fished. I'd go out to Boca and walk around the bridges, doing, you know, things like that. Cast the net and get the little baits around the bridges and just stay busy for hours, having a good time with the boys.
Well, I tell you what, that's even, you know, you get around Pelican Cove and Pelican Bay up around Boca Grande on the south end of the pass, and we do the same thing. You get up into Pelican Bay and you can walk those mangroves inside of the cove, and for summer, well, the mangrove snappers, they stay really up in the roots, and if you can find a hole, like a lot of times we'll find them around Hog Island where there's a hole under the mangroves going to a little offshoot in there, and man, just full of mangrove snapper. Great place. And
they like water movement.
Well, the fiddler crabs, what do you think bait-wise?
Oh, well, you know, snapper, they love crab, they love shrimp, they love anything. They're ferocious eaters, so they really like to eat anything you put in front of them. A cut bait, I mean, you cut up anything, cut up a pinfish, cut up any kind of fish you got, they'll eat it. They're ferocious. They like to be chummed. If you can find a way to chum these fish up, get a chum block from Walmart or the bait tackle shops or somewhere, put that out behind your boat. Maybe you went out and you casted for a little bit of bait and stuff, and you've got a bunch of dead ones when you bring them up, because that's always going to happen. You're going to have some live, you're going to have some that die. Take the dead ones and go ahead and chunk them and just toss them out real slow at a time. Use a nice long piece of fluorocarbon and a circle hook and just feed that other bait back in there and bang.
And I'll tell you something too about the chum. TNT Bait and Tackle, Tim and Tanya down in El Jabin, they sell great fresh bait. Their family actually goes out on bait boats. They collect bait up and down Lemon Bay, all around Florida, and resell it. Now they have a fresh chum pack that they sell. Actually use their own local fresh bait that they collect. They freeze it, box it up, you have it ready to go. You got to get there early. They usually are sold out pretty quick. They have it Thursday and Friday is the best time to get out there early, pick it up and put it in your freezer, save it for the weekend. If you wait too long, they ain't gonna have it, because it is good chum and people do buy it.
Fishing's good right now, and they've got a really great location being down there by the El Jabin Bridge.
Yep.
That bridge is loaded, loaded with fish. I mean, it's just, it's been there forever. You know, they were talking about tearing down that trestle at one point in time, and I think enough people screamed and let them know that that's a definite fishery, and you can't go getting rid of something that's been around there that long.
Yeah.
So,
you know, the fish in there is great. I was diving on those train trusses back when I was, 9 years old. I used to go down there with my dad and we'd go scuba dive. And in fact, when the train ran, Sundays was about the only day you could fish.
You had to run off the train. Yeah, you had to get off. That's what. Here comes the train, everybody! Because they had the little things that stuck out the side. You jumped off the side and you held on, and then you get vibrated. You know, you get vibrated.
But I'll tell you what, too, the center of that truss, where there used to be the turnstile, if you're ever fishing there, at the very bottom in the center, they left that original old debris crap on the bottom. So there are a lot of big, if you like cobia, you like shark, you like big catfish.
Oh my gosh, there's lots of big, there's lots of bigs there, guys. I mean,
biggest grouper I ever saw was under there. Biggest grouper I ever saw was under there.
You wouldn't think it, but you know, I tell you what, one day I pulled up a Goliath grouper there that was probably
monsters.
I'm gonna say, you know, in this range, guys. Monsters. I mean, like that big around and like easily this long. So I'm just guessing 100, 110 pounds, easy. Something like that. I mean, it was a big fat grouper.
Now, the one I saw diving under there, I actually didn't even see it until my father pointed it out. It was that big against the background. And I actually looked back and went, oh my God, it looked like a dinosaur.
Swallow Frank.
It was huge, and my old man just smiling, no, we're not gonna shoot that thing today. And I'll tell you now, he might shoot us, but yeah, it is. It's great fishing there, you're right. And also, the IFA tournament's coming up, Sarasota. They're going out of Centennial Park. It should be a really great show, redfish tournament. I know Scott Larson's going to be in it. We might see if we do. What do we got, a gator coming?
You got a bass. It's just working this shoreline over here like crazy. It's making me want to quit this show and go fishing, folks.
See, they're teasing us now.
You know, I haven't been fishing nearly enough for this. I mean, I'm a kind of guy who has to have at least 3 days a week fishing, and all I've been doing is working 5-6 days a week, so I haven't been getting enough fishing.
Well, it's 6:30 in the evening, so usually that's the time to start top water out here, huh?
I mean, look at it. The shadows are starting to cast across this. This is just a little feeder canal. We've talked about it a number of times. It's across the street from my house. It's a place where I come over here and hang out. I test lures. And it's mostly the kids hang out over here. I feed the bluegill and stuff, and the kids come over and hang out. But
some big bass in here too.
There's some big ones. There's always big ones when you're in Florida, folks. Welcome to paradise.
This is the truth. We're out fishing. I had this pole. This is the pole I'm using. I got the Canyon reel. I got a pin rod. It's an inshore. In fact, I got a razor bait on here right now that we've been playing with. Really great bait. And we were out there on the west wall, and Chris is like, "Yeah, you got to put one of those deceivers on." So I picked it up and I looked at it, and I thought, do I really want to fight a fish that big that's gonna hit this? I mean, I'm serious. I'm thinking,
with that big?
Yeah, with that big, because I've seen this bait work, and I mean, these fish are big, man. I mean, we're not talking about, oh, that's a freaking monster trophy snook. And so Chris catches this one, which was really mine, but I'm gonna let him have it. But
no. I'll let Frank have this lure back, folks, because Bill's gonna give me a box of them.
Oh man, this is sweet. I'm taking this.
Bill's gonna give me a box of them. I can promise you right now.
We're out there, and when I tie one of Daniel's deceivers on, I mean, you really better be ready. I mean, the truth of the matter is, and even Chris said it, he hooks into that snook and he looked at his hole and goes, I'm not sure. He didn't have the Canyon on that one.
First thing I said right away is,
I
only have 30-pound test on the line. And 30-pound test with the fish that I was fighting, instantly I went into drum mode, guys.
Yep.
Instantly. When that fish is heading to the bank, I'm doing this, okay? When you see this happening, that's me pissing that fish off and making it stop. Once it's got that line really tight, that fish will stop, surface, like he did. You guys couldn't see it on the video, but that fish stopped, surfaced, and I turned his head, and he came right back to me. And it was a big old snook, and he could have wore me out real quick.
But instead, he wore me out. So Chris says, do me a favor and grab that net, which was my second mistake. My first mistake was not working the top water all the way back to the boat. Second mistake was grabbing the net, and my third mistake was trying to pull a 40-pound snook in or whatever it was. Broke my back. I mean, I've been limping for the past 3 days because I netted the fish that he caught on Mr. Daniel's deceiver here and like to kill me.
Let's get real. Let's see. I've suffered a 3-way broken back, folks, and I broke it catching a snook.
He's got titanium in his back. I just got busted up bones and flesh, man. I mean, so he just grabbed the net. I grabbed the net. I'm like, oh God. When you hear me in the video going, oh my God, it wasn't because of the snook. It was because my vertebrae all snapped trying to haul that thing into the boat.
He was just thanking God for the fishing blessing. That's all it was. You just don't understand, Frankie.
I'm just saying one thing. It's all I'm saying right now is if you want to put Mr. Bill Daniels Deceivers lures on your boat and on your pole, you better have a pole that can handle the fish. You better have line that can handle the fish. You better have a reel that can handle the fish. And you damn well better have a back that can handle the fish, because those lures are going to put you on big fish.
Don't worry about it, guys. The smile will take care of all the other things that Frankie's worried about.
I was smiling.
Because when I got done catching that big fish, the smile
you still smiling.
Just still pulled back so far. I didn't even feel no pain. I felt nothing.
We're on the way back, pouring rain. I look over, he just got this big grin on his face, cruising back.
That's right. It's like, yeah, I told you, don't be listening to those fools. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I really do like a good moving tide, a barometer that lines up with it. When I'm talking about the barometer that lines up with it, you know, and we have a barometer that's rising or falling all the time. When a barometer is just sitting level, the fish aren't going to be as apt to bite. But when the barometer's moving, those fish bite. Okay, a moon phase. If you get a major or a minor moon phase to line up with your tide, bang, you've got food happening. I mean, it's just gonna happen.
He did, he showed me. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, hey look, I listen, you know, one thing, I'm an IT guy, I'm really not a fisherman, you know, so, you know, I'm a smart guy, but when it comes to the water and stuff like that, you gotta learn. It's like everything, you gotta go to somebody that knows what they're talking about, they've been on the water, they know what's going on, and you learn. And we went out 2 days ago, and Chris did it again. You know, he did it again. I always say he's the best storyteller I've ever met. I had to get him on film, and now you people understand what I've been saying. Is the ping and the banjo, he was out, you saw it on film. I even said, damn it, he's playing the banjo. Look at this. He's doing it.
Well, you know what?
On a big snook, he does it exactly the way you said you were reeling it in. You use the bait you said was going to work. Mr. Deceive. One thing really quick. We are going to have these for sale on our website, and it was not easy because Bill Daniels actually has, they call it the 30-pound club. And if you haven't caught a 30-pound snook, you can't buy any lures from them. So that's the rule.
Oh, I didn't know the rule.
Well, you made it anyway. I mean, you made it a long time ago. But and these lures are actually go for about 20 to 25 bucks if you want to buy them locally. So we talked to Bill, and Bill says, you know what? If you guys want to present them nice and really do a nice show about them, we'll give them to you for under 20 bucks.
There you go.
So we're going to have them for, I believe it's going to be about 18 bucks for. These are all handmade, proven lures. You could see it catch fish, you could see it catch bass, you could see it catch snook, redfish.
You got to get it, man. If you don't have this type of lure in your boat, you're basically just fooling yourself into thinking that you're going to go out there and catch the big one every time you go. This lure will produce the best action, topwater slams that you've ever seen in your life. If you go ahead and put this lure in your boat, I'll promise you, you won't be deceived.
Well, they work, and yeah, it's a truth. And when you can take any bait, and you see it all the time, you go up and you're looking at lures at Wally World or Bass Pro Shop or wherever, all of them have the same label: redfish, snook, trout, bass. Redfish, snook, trout. Everything catches redfish. None of them catch redfish, snook, trout.
Hold on. What they should say is, this lure catches manfish. That's right. We sell the manfish lure. Yep. That's all they're catching, guys. They're catching fishermen. They catch their eye. Oh, wow, look at that nice redfish on the package. Look at all this stuff. Listen, I'm still sort of PO'd at my buddies who didn't tell me about this lure until this year. We haven't got right with they should have told me about this at least 30 years ago, okay? I feel like I've been deceived too.
Well, it does. It works good. I've seen a lot of, takeoffs on that type of a popper. I know DOA has that kind of that orange popper.
We all grew up fishing the Devil's Horses. A wooden lure that's a surface lure that makes a lot of noise. I mean, anybody that looks at a Okeechobee story says, Okeechobee, what do you need at Okeechobee? You need your flipping stick and you need your Devil's Horses. Well, I'm telling you right now, when we hit Okeechobee with the Daniels Deceiver, it ain't gonna know what's gonna hit them. They're pretty soon gonna change that commercial to, it's a Daniels Deceiver, and then bring your flipping stick.
Nope, they really do make a difference. And weight-wise too, and size-wise, when you're fishing with this bait, you could feel, when he threw that silver trout in, and I even looked at one, that's a big piece of bait. I mean, if something's gonna hit that, I expected shark, cobia. I really never expected a big snook. I really did.
We were expecting a shark. I mean, let's get real.
Something like that.
We were looking for a nice shark to come up behind us and give us a dump. But I have to say that I know I've caught many of big fish.
Well, I mean, this trout was about at least about this long.
Inches. It's 12 inches.
I mean, this snook grabbed it. He sucked that thing down.
How long is the Daniels Deceiver, the glass minnow?
Just about 12 inches.
Not that long. Yeah. I mean, it's a big bait. They like big baits.
They like big fish. They like big baits. And like I said, the big fish go right after them. They attack them and they're on.
Big fish are opportunists. They don't want to put a lot of effort for their meal. The bigger the fish is, the least amount of effort they want to put into it. And you take a big fat girl, you take her by the ice cream shop, she's going to tell you to go up to the window.
Oh, we're going to get calls about this,
I'm telling you, listen, I'm sorry. There is fat girls out there. I mean,
we're going to get so many calls about this.
Listen, I mean, the world has them.
But getting back to fishing.
The end of the show is coming very near. Because we're going to get in trouble.
But these baits do work. They may not land you chicks, but they'll land you fish. Get you in trouble with the girls, but they'll land you fish.
If you have a fat girl, don't show her the video.
Take her fishing. But we did great. We went down the West Wall. We only spent a few hours out there. I know everybody I've talked to right now, all of them are saying they are doing so good fishing. Just avoid the storms. Big redfish, big snook, big tarpon coming up.
I mean, we didn't even go to where it was basically where the fishing's at, guys. Right now, Boca Grande Pass, all around them areas out there, Catfish Creek, Whiddens Creek, all of those areas are flowing so good right now. It is off the chain. I mean, the reports coming from out there are just numbers.
Well, Mike went out, where Boca Grande Pass is, where the seawall wraps around, where the old docks washed out, those pilings are. Mike went around there, a buddy of mine, he was fishing with a little Johnson Sprite spoon, caught himself a ladyfish, put it on a big hook, threw it out there. 20 minutes later, he had a 50-pound tarpon he reeled in. So, you know, you let that bait go out with the tide, and they're all over the place.
Not uncommon. You just got to use the big baits. You know what, Frankie? We're going to have to wrap this baby up here because I got to go to a Port Charlotte Bandits football meeting.
Oh, that's right. Coach got a meeting tonight.
Coach Chris has got to go get a coach's meeting on, so we got I got to go get ready for some football too.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. We got some great video we're going to play with this. Chris got that huge snook out there on this setup you're seeing here. Tonight, I'm actually going to put those deceivers on our website so you can buy them now. They come directly from Mr. Bill Daniels. So anything you buy from our website, he's actually going to process it. He's going to build it. He's going to ship it to you. Comes U.S. mail pretty quick. And we'll have the price on there. I believe that includes shipping and everything. Make it really easy for you. And don't miss out on them. I'll tell you right now, these are great baits. They're scary. They're scary good.
They're going to be, listen, these baits are going to be good. I don't care if you live in Tennessee and you're out there fishing across the lake. Those fish will come up for the sound of a pop on the surface, and you run your favorite bait behind it. It doesn't have to be Chris's pink jig. It can be a bass hook with a worm on the end of it. I'm telling you right now, folks, this is the caller, and what's underneath of it is going to be the catcher, okay? You go ahead and get your caller, your little trout deceiver right now. Let's get them.
And we're going to have some more canyon reels coming up. As a matter of fact,
nice.
We're going to get Dad's boat. I think we're going to head out to Boca Grande and give one of these reels a run for its money. It's got a 25-pound foot drag, so we're going to definitely drag 30 pounds of weight out of it and see if we can make these things smoke.
Well, I tell you what, the drag when it took off on that snook the other day sounded real pretty.
Very nice.
And and it's a very nice light reel, easy to work. Look at that handle spinning right there. This thing is a good feeling reel. You might want to try it out, folks. If you want to go ahead and catch you a big fish, you want to have something that you can back it up with. And this is the reel for you.
And I'll tell you what, I gave it to Dad. Dad's got bad gout in his hands. He was a butcher his whole life, lived pretty much in a meat freezer working. And he's got really bad gout, and he has a hard time fishing after about a half an hour. He threw this rod with this reel for an hour and a half with the lure on it, and he could not believe how light it was. His hands didn't hurt because he didn't have to grab a small thing with his fingers.
Right, the big knob. I like that big knob, guys. I mean, you don't have this little pinching move like this. As you're getting older, these fingers and stuff don't work as good, so you can just sort of let that thing run right in your knuckles right here like this. And that way you don't have to pinch down. You just let it sit right there. It works really nice. And I mean, I cast this thing quite a few times. So, all right, guys.
We're out of here.
Get it up.
Thank you, folks. We'll see you out there. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Chris.
Bang. ABC.